Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my February TBR. So first things first, I want to talk about the two arcs I will be reading in the month of February. The first of which is The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This is just kind of described on Goodreads as a mix of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files, which I haven't read, but it's mixed with Octavia Butler's Kindred, which is one of my favorite classics. So that pulled me in right away. This is a debut novel that follows a woman named Hetty Rhodes, who is a conductor on the Underground Railroad that helps usher people to the north using her wits and magic. So once the Civil War is over, Hetty and her husband move to Philadelphia in order to kind of solve some mysteries that white authorities won't touch. When one of their friends is slain in an alley, Hetty and her husband Benji decide to bury the body and go off to find answers. And to solve this mystery, they will have to uncover some secrets about the society at the time and some of their own personal secrets. So obviously this sounds super amazing. When I read The Diviners, which is like right over here, it was like one of my favorite tropes to blend historical fiction with magic, with some sort of fantasy. So that's what really drives home that I will probably really enjoy this novel, and I can't wait to pick it up. The next arc I want to read this month is Magic Mutant Nightmare Girl by Erin Grammer. I don't know much about this, to be honest. I just requested it because of this beautiful cover. It initially drew me in. So essentially, this book follows a girl named Holly Rhodes who uses her Harajuku fashion sense in order to distract herself from a tragedy that occurred in her life. This magical girl element really makes her feel beautiful, and it keeps the world at arm's length. The story takes a turn when Holly decides to team up with a bunch of magical mutants. On Goodreads, this is said to be fans that are obsessed with Sailor Moon, the Umbrella Academy, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is me. So obviously with this beautiful cover and that description, I am really looking forward to it. Obviously, as it is an arc, I don't know much about it because I haven't heard a lot of people speaking about it, but I did see this cover being shared around on Twitter, so I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, at least because of this gorgeous artwork. Next, you only see 2 books here, but they will be part of a 4-book secret reading vlog. I won't go into details now, but just know it's romance themed because it's February. Then, like I mentioned in my January TBR, if you watched it, I decided to kind of give myself a Brandon Sanderson project this year. So every month I want to tackle my humongous Brandon Sanderson backlog. Last month I ended up reading his debut Elantris, and this month I want to pick up Warbreaker by him. So Warbreaker is the story of 2 sisters who happen to be princesses, and one of them have to marry this like god king. This world is kind of different from what I've seen Brandon Sanderson do before. In this world, if you die in like a glory, you kind of come back as a god. And this also has one of Brandon Sanderson's unique magic systems, as they all do, but from what I understand, this one kind of uses color. It's called the Breath, and they are able to pull from colors in order to get their power. As I've mentioned before on this channel, Mistborn is one of my absolute favorite series. Because of that, I always wanted to read more from Brandon Sanderson. But as I mentioned in my January wrap-up part 1, Elantris just didn't really live up to the hype for me. I do understand it was his debut novel and I was still really engaged with it, but I ended up giving it a 3.5. I have heard nothing but good things about Warbreaker. A lot of people I've seen have given 5 out of 5 stars. My friend Danny over at Current Chapter has also told me she really liked this book. So I'm having high hopes. I hopefully really enjoy this one a lot more. Then, as I also mentioned in my January TBR, I am participating in Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon 2021 TBR. So what this means is that every month there is kind of a buzzword, a word to use and to try to fit maybe an entire TBR with it, maybe just one book with it. So what I decided to do in 2021 is really use this prompt to pick one book from my shelves in order to read. For the month of February, the word theme is color. So I decided to pick Out of the Blue by Sophie Cameron. If you watched my 2021 TBR, the oldest owned books I have, you will know that I have this one since 2018 or 2019. So it's really about time that I do give this a go. And I thought, because it's already on my year-long TBR, because it has a color in it, why not choose it for this prompt? So from what I understand, this book is kind of like a surrealism angel story. Basically, it follows a girl named Jaya who 10 days after the death of her mother starts to see these beings fall from the sky. They smash down to earth at extraordinary speed. Their wings are all bent. They are completely destroyed, and not a single one has survived so far. 8 months later, a being falls at the feet of Jaya and she discovers that they are still alive. So this one is really short. If you know me, you know that I love short books that can pack a really good punch in the feels. So I'm really hoping to enjoy this. I don't think I've heard much about it. I think it really pulled me in because of this angel surrealism aspect. So I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope that it is a quick but really impactful read. Then if you watched my 2021 TBR for nonfiction, you'll know that I really wanted to read Becoming by Michelle Obama. I feel like every single person in this universe has read this book and I am the lonely idiot who hasn't read it yet. So this is Michelle Obama's memoir from growing up in the south side of Chicago to going to Princeton to becoming a high-profile lawyer to then meeting Barack Obama. The former first lady really goes into detail about her life. I did purchase the audiobook for this on Libro FM, so I will be listening to this in Michelle Obama's voice, and sorry, the lighting is like really weird. I love reading memoirs and nonfiction by the authors themselves because I really feel like the emotion and what they want to exactly convey in the novel really shines when you listen to it in their voice. So I have seen nothing but fantastic things about this memoir. I love the Obamas. I'm very, very, very excited to pick this one up. Then for a book I've put on a multitude of February TBRs, we have Lovely War by Julie Berry. I first saw this book on Heather over at Aphrodite Reads channel. She really loved this book. Because of that, I knew that this book incorporates some sort of Greek mythology aspect, and that is a buzzword for me. So from what I understand, this is kind of like a sweeping historical romance novel. It starts with Aphrodite. All I know is that she decides to tell this grand narrative story about a couple of people that are in love. I think there's 2 love stories, so 4 people. Yeah, Hazel, James, Aubrey, and Colette. I want to finally pick this up. I always save it for the month of February, and if I don't read it in February, I put it off for the rest of the year. So this is one of them that you have to count me to reading, and if you don't see this on any of my February wrap-ups, yell at me. Then, much like with Brandon Sanderson, I've been also wanting to pick up a lot more of N.K. Jemisin. This series, the Broken Earth trilogy, is one of my favorite trilogies I've ever read. Because February is Black History Month here in Canada, I decided to pick up How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. So this is a collection of short fiction that tackles a lot of subjects, primarily like Afrofuturism, but I kind of want to read the blurb because I don't think I can word it any better. So Jemisin sharply examines modern society, infusing magic into the mundane and drawing deft parallels in the fantasy realms of her imagination. Dragons and hateful spirits haunt the flooded city of New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. In a parallel universe, a utopian society watches our world, trying to learn from our mistakes. A black mother in the Jim Crow South must figure out how to save her daughter from a fae offering impossible promises. I also want to tackle this one because I know that there's one short story in this book that I think sparked the idea for The City We Became. So I do want to tackle this one before I give this one a go, and this is like one of my most anticipated reads of 2020, and I told myself I couldn't read it until I read this one. So this will also be done this month. I love N.K. Jemisin. I think she does great with the novel format, so I can only see her being equally amazing in a short fiction format. I also can't wait to come back and tell you guys which of these stories were my favorites, and I'm hoping that I do love the one that this is based on, so I can jump right into this right away. Another fantasy novel on my TBR this month is Raybearer by Jordan Ufweko. So this made the rounds on BookTube last year, and everybody was absolutely adoring this. I particularly remember Joel from Fictional Fates really liked this book. If I can find a review from him, I will leave it down below. So this book follows a young girl named Tara Sai who has always longed for a sense of family. She was raised in isolation by a mysterious woman just named the Lady. When Tara Sai comes of age, the Lady sends her to the capital city in order to partake in these trials in order to join the Crown Prince's Council of 11. So if she is picked, Tara Sai will join this group of 11 and they share a bond stronger than blood through this thing called the Ray. But unfortunately, the lady has other plans for Tarisay, and she would like her to actually kill the crown prince. This sounds really, really fun, really engaging, and I'm really looking forward to picking it up. Look at this cover. It's so beautiful. I've heard nothing but good things, like I said, so itching to pick this one up. And then finally, I almost forgot another book I want to read in February because it comes out this month, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. In my earlier sprinkles into booktube, I really got into Sarah J Maas. I loved the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Aquamath was the first book that made me cry in a long time since Twilight, so if you see the parallels between them, no, you do not. It's not all the time that these like 100-year-old men make me cry, okay? So the A Court of Thorns and Roses series follows a girl named Fairy. Is that how you pronounce her name? I always forget. One day, when she is hunting for food in the woods for her family, she ends up shooting a wolf that turns out to be one of the Fae of the Spring Court. As punishment for killing one of the Fae, the leader, I haven't read this in a long time, the leader of the Spring Court captures Feyre and basically takes her to his castle as punishment, but what ends up happening is that they fall in love. It could be Stockholm Syndrome, it could be love, we don't know. And over the course of 3 books, Feyre really comes into her own and develops as a character. So in this book, I believe Feyre takes a kind of sidestep to the side, and it follows her sister Nesta with what I'm presuming will be a love interest. Nesta was one of my favorite characters from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, just because she's this like mean bitch and I love her. So I don't want to go too much into it. I know that Sarah J Maas is kind of dabbling into adult now with the series. Like the series should have always been adult, but it was classified as young adult. So I'm wondering if now that it's being classified as an adult, Sarah J Maas will go more into the nitty gritty, more into like the dirt, if you know what I mean. And that's it. Those are all the books I want to read in the month of February. If you have read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you would like to see more content from me. It makes me feel really good. That's it for this video. Let me know down below in the comments whatever you want to let me know. And I don't know how to end these things, so I guess I will see you next time. Bye!